have from Coach Dill, and what does Riston have for us as well?
5 seconds till the
This
enemy
is gonna
reaches
set the pace,
battlefield.
right? Very interesting
Smash them.
picks. Again, Homeboys pulling out this
Ultras
Nana. It worked the
deployed.
first time in the very first game that they pulled it out. Question is whether teams have
Welcome
seen
to
through this
Mobile
strategy
Legends.
and whether they can counter it.
It's more to do with like range battles, but taking a look at the macro overall plays, it does look like Homeboys wants to go for that quick level 2 or fast 2. On the hand of Vanguard though, they have to defend. Vernacular actually taking a lot of damage, but they do get their level 2. With the early game rotations coming in, Homeboys could very, very well set the pace and set the tempo for the early game skirmishes.
Yeah, I mean, looking right now, they're focusing on the top side actually. So, like you said, the tag team, right? They're rotating a little bit together. Nick Stain, Chute, as well as Dairy and Peck. So, kind of quiet so far in terms of this early first minute of the game.
Weapon Master actually built by Pex. That's the tier 2 battle emblem that Pex is equipped on. It does look like there won't be a lot of rotations coming in from this Nana right off the bat. I think early game he'll just stay in his mid lane island and just play it very, very safely. I think rotations will be coming in definitely by Colonial Cure from the EXP lane, so clearing that wave and then coming down to deal a lot of damage.
Now, of course, Homeboys, they are more or less prepared for this Fanny, because one thing that I remembered, of course, is Molina, right? Molina is a pretty annoying control ability that can definitely stop slowly right there and then. Unlike many other abilities like suppress or stuns or knockups, if slowly is in the air, he will still continue with the inertia, right? He will continue running through. However, if you get transformed, you actually get stopped right there and then. As such, I believe that is actually a very good idea of what they're trying to go for, but that also means that they're gonna have to lock down slowly at first, initially, before she even starts flying, because she's got the mobility. She can run away from the range of the Molina pretty darn easily too.
Going into the first turtle fight, I think Homeboys actually identified that the EXP lane has a little bit of a gap right there in terms of EXP. Super Ryan slow to that level 4, and if you're playing a Yuzhong, basically you want to win in all of these objective team fights. Homeboys are keeping them at bay, aggressively invading into the jungles. It does look like they want a contest for this purple buff, but the back turn point comes up.
Now, of course, Super Ryan is just going to be flying all around the country. But unfortunately, he did not manage to lock down the Vietnam Cure. He didn't have to expand out his flicker. And even with a quick sand guard, it's not going to be enough for him to stay alive. With both Vietnam Cure as well as Davey taken down, they're just on the opponent's side. Vanguard is going to be continuing the assault onto Super Jocks, whereby he is just way too deep into the fight. Which is the problem about Nana, whereby she just don't really deal that much damage in the early game.
Oh, actually, slowly, they were trading their purple buffs in the midst of the fight. So Super Jocks prioritized getting that purple buff, whereas on the north side of that battle, it does look like Super Ryan had an easier time. It's 3 kills right off the bat, 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think that's fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, during that fight, actually, Super Ryan managed to nail a 2 or 3 man stun with that Raging Sandstorm all the way in the back. So Homeboy is just, I think, a bit too deep in the jungle there for them to be able to back out of that fight.
Well, I think Homeboys is basically doing what their draft entitles them to do. They can afford to be a little bit more aggressive into the jungles, but Vietnam are actually taking a lot of damage to sustain coming through. It's an easy kill for Super Ryan.
That is as expected. What you will want to see from a Yuzhong, which can pretty much bully the lane. But of course, we are also looking at Khalid, right? Great sustainability. Of course, great wave clear as well. But in the meantime, down to the bottom lane, Nick Stain did manage to find a really good catch down on Dairy. Dairy forced to flicker, at least with a sliver of health.
Just that one fight alone, though, Vanguard is up on top. 4 minutes into the game, 2,000 gold lead. Vanguard has a lot of these advantages.
They're playing to, you were talking about their plan here, right? To pick off and exactly what they have been doing.
And now Vinokil finds himself once again being in the target on Slowly as well as Super Ryan. It forced Super Ryan to actually pop with the ultimate though. Not sure why, or maybe just a little bit too late.
I think it's a defensive mechanism that Super Ryan wants to do. He was tanking the turret damage all the way through. Homeboys, another try though in purple buff.
Nick Stain once again, another Wheel Dragon that will be connecting on the Super Chop, but that is going to put him in a very bad spot actually, because he actually gave in an opening movement for Super Chops.
So this is very, very smart coming in from Nana. Throw the Molina right underneath the nose of that Fanny. So slowly kind of struggling to get that purple buff. Turns into Molina, and that's where Homeboys are able to overturn the situation.
you're really using that kit to their advantage, right? Knowing that Slowly's going to be at that buff and kind of pre-planning that skirmish in advance, and they were successful at it. So off the top of that, they're also going to be able to convert that into a turtle. So despite them having to hold on, Nick Stain though being pressured here.
Well, ganking Luxon Stain in the goal lane, after all, is going to be the keys to victory for the side of Homeboys, and it seems as though they want to focus on that, with Luxon Stain being the first person taken down, and they would want to follow that through onto Nick Stain. But unfortunately, not quite enough of a frontline body for them to do that. 1-for-1 trade, pretty good.
It's favoring the side of Homeboys, right? You take down the gold laner for a roam position. It doesn't really matter for Homeboys. Homeboys are just styling on Vanguard right now. It's always a 4-man skirmish. Take a look at the itemizations. It does look like Vanguard trying to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of their item builds, item outputs. BOD, first item to be bought by Luxon Stain. You follow that up with a Fury Hammer, but not in this case. Homeboys, on the other hand, having a little bit of balance between defense and offense.
Yeah, and on the other hand though, Luxon Stain, while he's getting that BOD, Mitsuri's already secured himself that Haas Claw. So it's gonna have a bit of a bump for him there, and not to mention he was a level ahead of Luxon Stain as well.
Oh, so here's the thing, it's a very orchestrated move from Homeboys to just casually walk into the purple buff. And Vanguard has pretty much learned about that. They know the kind of rotations that Homeboys want to do, constantly just choke up the purple buff as much as possible, which Vanguard was very well prepared for that.
I'm not sure why Beatrix swapped up into the EXP lane, because the turtle is actually spawning up right on the EXP lane. So Homeboys actually do have the advantage of getting a free kind of lane down in the bot side.
I guess, does it mean that they just want Luxon Stain to be part of the battle?
Might be. I mean, if you have the BOD, you have that damage coming through, especially when you play with the rockets and the machine guns coming in from Luxon Stain. Yep, there we go. The rockets in. So they're really sizing up for this turtle fight.
Well, there is, I mean, the early damage coming from Wesker, right? Potentially, right now, at the very early parts, you could take someone down, so there might be some value in Luxon Stain participating in those team fights. But it is kind of a risk, right? And right now, it looks like they're risking it to take this turtle.
Oh, the Zoo play from Nick Stain, but unfortunately was not used to catch anyone out. The Whale Dragon just going to be connecting on the Veil No Cure, but it doesn't seem like that managed to help them do anything for now. Slowly just going to be riding onto this train. He did manage to force the passive of Pex, while Super Ryan joins in, hoping that he'll be able to clip him off. But in the end, it's going to be Jude that managed to do that. So Vanguard essentially lost 2 members from that fight alone, make that 3 members. And Homeboys has essentially got a free turtle for themselves. Slowly got to deal with this alone. That's not going to be good.
Massive fight from Homeboys, right? Like, they took down 3 members from the side of Vanguard. They took down the turret down in the bottom lane. They had Mitsuri move up into that mid lane to try to cycle them through. That was so well played from Homeboys. And again, Super Ryan with a missed time with the Black Dragon form. If he was a little bit earlier, if he targeted himself onto Super Jock, it would have been better. Oh, Bjorn Cure actually taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I also feel like in that previous fight, it seemed like Vanguard was really going all the way in for Pex, right? Invested so much just to take him down, and you have to take him down twice, right? That's the thing. So the amount of resources that you have to put in order to get Pex, and in the meantime, Homeboys is gonna be able to save all their cooldowns and resources for when you try to disengage from the fight.
There's actually a lot of damage coming in from Mitsuri already. Homeboys could very well go for a pick off. And then try to cycle them through in numbers. It's a numbers game for Homeboys as of this point. Will be hard for Pex to really come online. Super Jocks tries to taunt onto Nick Stain. I think one of the main win conditions for Homeboys right now is really to find out where Luxon Stain is at all times of the map, but it does look like they are trying to go for a 3-2 kind of composition where Derry and Mitsuri are always on the offside.
Yeah, they're roaming together, right? You saw them from the bottom all the way to the top as well. So far, they've been doing that, but Nick Stain, though,
doesn't seem like Nick Stain is going to get out of this alive. Luxon Stain, unfortunately, with the Nibiru's passion, it didn't really clip anyone, as a matter of fact. Misery got out of that with not a single health lost.
Okay, I understand what Vanguard is doing. It is basically split pushing right now. Homeboys are a very difficult bunch to break if they are a 5v5 kind of fight. So slowly shifting his objective, going for that split push capability that they have. Oh, Luxon Stain!
Oh, Dairy! Not like this, not like this. And because of that mistake, Super Ryan pops off in the Black Dragon form, and it seems as though he's actually targeting onto Dairy, not necessarily on the Mitsuri. And that is only going to put himself in a very bad spot. As such, he finds himself petrified, or rather he finds himself petrifying one member, but at least Luxionstein comes in together with the Way of the Dragon. They manage to bring Dairy and Mitsuri down.
Rotation coming in just nice from the rest of the team, right? Nick Stain as well to help to close out that fight with Homeboys. I think quite unfortunate as well. Super Ryan chased that down all the way in, couldn't close that out. Luxionstein at this point fighting with the Lord, but he's pretty low on health.
I think what Vanguard did was very good. They cycled them just right. They are lacking a setup and they're lacking damage coming in from Mitsuri. So Vanguard could very well take this Lord, but with the Fanny, that might not be enough. It's slowly!
Oh.
He actually got it! It was a little bit slow on that one.
I see what you did there. But now, with Vanguard getting themselves the Lord, they have effectively managed to buy a little bit more time for themselves in order to scale more into this game. 1,000 gold lead on top of Homeboys. That is definitely not something that Homeboys is going to be happy about. But remember still, we're looking at a Nana, and Nana requires items to really come off with some damage. They have a lot of utilities, but damage not quite there.
This might be Homeboy's plan after all. Give the Lord and then try to force Vanguard into a dive situation where they put themselves exposed into the mercy of the turrets. Okay, it does look like Nick Stain will not want to go for that. No commitment after all by Vanguard, but the Lord slowly pushing down on that bottom side. Homeboys just back on that defense. They're waiting for the right move. They're waiting for the right encounter. All they want to do is just react to Vanguard's approach.
Red team turret has been
Now
destroyed.
the Lord is pushing up to the bottom side, preparing to pillage and plunder. But Homeboys is not gonna let that happen at all, as they immediately melted this Lord down with some flames and bubbling the Lord up almost instantaneously. The Lord didn't really even do much at the bottom lane, but hey, as the top lane got pushed, the middle lane's first tier defense turret got down too.
It's almost like a distraction, right? I mean, yes, you have the Lord, but they knew that Homeboys would be there to defend it as well. So sending slowly, like you said, Churros, to split push all the way. And so far, Homeboys has been forced to react across the map, even though they kept up in the early game, you know, got that few objectives in as well. Overall, in terms of the control, they've lost a lot of pressure to Vanguard.
Taking a look at itemizations right now in the mid stages of the game, does look like both teams are going for the drone boost, but Pure taking so much!
Wow, look at that flash from Slowly! But you are trying to take a final Vinocure who have the quick sand gun. Oh, the flicker from Vinocure! He really wants to get himself away, but unfortunately he will be beating himself with Luxionstein instead. While Dairy is going to be in the eyes of Luxionstein. Homeboys finding themselves with 2% taken down, and Super Jock's gonna have to be a man against the world. Pegs doesn't have a lot of HP to work with. He can only stay behind a little while longer, but look at the amount of tankiness that Super Jock has, allowing them to do quite a lot. Unfortunately, that is still a mid-3 that will yield to the hands of Luxionstein.
Luxionstein dealing so much damage. Give him enough time. This is where he shines. The Stain brothers are coming up.
That timing was impeccable as well. When Nick Stain came in, flickered in with the kick caught too, and Luxionstein's Bennett's Rage landed right on that to be able to put two members of Homeboys immediately out of the fight. And this is really giving them that itch right now, stripping Homeboys out of the resources that they can take from the jungle.
Vanguard manipulation at its finest, just splitting Homeboys up at 1% at a time. This is what their composition entitles them to do, and they're doing it so perfectly. It doesn't matter if Slowly goes down, because the rest of the team has so much mobility, so much rotation power that Homeboys are rendered useless. This is a fight that Vanguard wants to take. Try to push the Lord out, try to draw Homeboys in, and then slowly finding a flank onto any one members of Homeboys.
At this moment, it's a bit of a reset, right? I mean, even though Homeboys lost in that fight, on top side Slowly.
Oh, I thought that it would be one point in time, but we can actually see
it reminds me of Diablo.
I know, right?
I know. Every time, like, Diablo just facing a Fanny 1v1.
That's not Badal.
That's not Badal. That's still his hero, though.
That's still his hero, yeah. Literally, that man single-handedly made Singapore play Khalid.
That's true. Singapore and other regions buying into the Khalid craze right now. Next thing with the concealed play, trying to find Mitsuri.
Oh, he did manage to get a knockdown, a knockup onto Dairy as well. Super Jogs, but not necessarily going to be the answer that he's looking out for. But now, Ryan, he actually focused onto Dairy. They are actually going onto the front lines. And that means that they have no one going over to the back lines, giving Mitsuri the free hit. But now slowly joins into the fray. He came in to get a quick little cut through onto Dairy, forcing the immortality out.
This is the position that Homeboys want to take, so Chu just giving a little bit more vision on the Lord. It does look like slowly is trying to do a drive-by. He needs to time it just right.
It did seem like he could find an opening there. I think he was trying to go all the way into the back line, but it was a quick retreat by Homeboys. And right now, they're going to have the lead here by taking down this Lord objective as well. Vanguard, they don't really have an answer to that right now.
Oh,
Homeboys really likes this kind of like team fight kind of plays.
Yeah.
Because Vanguard is caught in a chokehold. They're like tunnel vision. They just slowly pick them off one by one by one. Homeboys like this front to back kind of aggression coming through within team fights. Vanguard though has to really split them up apart in order to make their composition work.
Yeah, Homeboys is a team that essentially like to play team fights, right? They will always try to look for domination within of the rivers, and they will want to always get themselves the neutral objective. They move together as four really early into the game. That has been very consistent with most of the gameplays coming in from Homeboys, and we gotta have to really identify that to see how that actually helps them translate to the kind of situation that they find themselves in right now, or perhaps even 5 minutes ago.
Very, very slow approach from Homeboys down, trying to get all three lanes synced up.
Yeah, and when you mentioned that they're moving as far, right? I mean, not just that. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god!
Slowly going down at this moment in time, not necessarily good at all. Vernocchio is just going to be jumping himself right in the front, only to be taken down by Nyx.
Gary with the huge
But
catch!
of course, that is what we're looking for. 3 man down from the side of Vanguard. Mitsuri just constantly on the move, on the run with a great crossbows. But unfortunately, we do not have any more minions that will be pushing down.
Oh, what?
Has been slain.
Super Jocks? Hi. You have no health.
And he was just standing there. It's open pickings for Chud.
So yeah, Mitsuri can't stay here any longer.
There was
Pix
a,
can't stay
okay,
here any longer as well.
breaking it down though, that was a massive setup from Darian. This is the kind of picks that he wants to set up for the rest of his team.
Yeah, playing exactly to his strengths, right? We spoke about how Davey plays a lot of these cat roamers as well, and that's exactly the kind of play that you're looking for when they roam as 5, like you said, and come together in a team fight. If he manages to pull that off, then Pex can also lay down the CC together with Vernocchio. So even though, I mean, Vanguard's trying to split them apart, when it comes down to pushing through the base, Homeboys has that ability to engage into them and force them into the fight.
To add oil to the fire, right now in this stage of the game, late game, Nana, taking a look at the damage, taking a look at the itemizations, this is Nana's damage coming through really, really effectively. That is a 2-hit burst onto slowly. Super Jogs jumps in, terrified.
Super Ryan manages to catch up onto Vernocchio and immediately pops to the Black Dragon form and chasing down onto the front lines of Homeboys. But unfortunately, he did not manage to find the right timing, or rather, the right positioning to actually do that. Mixstain, Theory! He manages to catch down on the Jude, one of the main anchors from the side of Vanguard, and thus, pandemonium occurs. Luxionstein finds himself walking away and away from the ultimate of Super Jocks. But that also means that Vanguard has got 2 men down. A little bit tough to deal with this upcoming lock take.
Homeboys already setting their sights up for that Lord. 30 seconds until Chud and Nyx come back online. This will be an uncontested Lord for Homeboys, but slowly trying to look for an opportunity to drive by. He needs a little bit of vision. He's there alone though.
I don't know if they can do that, right? It's a bit dangerous for Slowly to go in, but he has done that before, so we could try to look out for that. Has to be careful of Pex.
Slowly?
Slowly?
Wow!
Going with the split push though.
Yeah, he's...
Wow! Luxionstein actually takes the Lord! I was waiting for it!
What?
What just happened there?
Super Jocks.
He had the retribution!
Okay, so here's the thing. What I would believe is that Super Jocks, he knew the location of Fatty.
Yeah.
He knew that he went all the way upwards, so he thought to himself, you know what? I don't need to retribution onto this Lord because I can save this retribution for the purple buff so that we can aggress onto this Fanny even more, whereby he won't get a purple buff.
There's a massive Lord steal from Vanguard. It brings them up ahead, but they need to find the right pickoff. They need to find Mitsuri or Pex. They need to get them out of the game so that the window opportunity is wide open for Vanguard's pickings.
I wouldn't even say that that was a mistake from Super Jocks at all. It was literally just going to be a great timing from Liechtenstein, and he was stealthy as a ninja. And now Vanguard is going to be having the Lord pillaging and plundering down to the bottom lane, and just going to be shifting his focus onto the middle lane turret for some bloody reason. But hey, at least the main thing is the top lane inhibitor turret is going to be destroyed as well. Vanguard came here for what they wanted for, and that is going to be the inhibitor turrets.
That's huge! Just off of that one Lord Steal, Vanguard taking 2 base turrets off the hands of Homeboys. This is absolutely insane. I think, you know, Liechtenstein must be very pleased with himself right now because that really earned them a place back into this game.
Massive game changer right there. Just from Liechtenstein alone, 2 tier 3 turrets are off. So on the side lanes though, this opens up a lot of opportunities for hiding. And for hiding, I mean a base rush, a split push, and an end, a backdoor end.
Especially when you have Slowly on that Fanny and you know that consistently, time and again, he's been playing across the map and forcing Homeboys to respond. So 60-ish seconds till the next Lord is there. But the thing is, what Homeboy's gonna look out for Slowly coming through their base, they've also got to make sure that Liechtenstein doesn't steal that again.
It's a very boxing match kind of thing that's going on right now. Vanguard and Homeboys pushing and pulling, but no one is tugging on the string. No one's tugging on the wires. Homeboy on one hand, they don't mind the approach from Vanguard to try to get an offense onto their base because they do have that high ground. They do have AoE burst damage, especially coming in from the Nana. 6-1 and 7 Pex is having a good time. Vanguard needs to open up that map. They want to draw them into the jungle. They want Fanny to try to find an engage onto the back line.
Oh, Pinocchio. He's gonna have to run right now because he tried to go for the quick Senga, but only to get terrified. As such, he's not gonna stay alive for the longest time ever, but apparently, he's still gonna be A-okay. Slowly just drive by, I guess, high and by. But Nick Day now lost his immortality. Choose HP dropped all the way down because of the bloody boomerang from Pex. That guy is painful.
They touch and they go, but so much damage blows were traded by both teams. Vanguard still slowly but surely coming back on top. The Lord has spawned up. Homeboys trying to take control of the lane manipulation coming from both sides. At any one point in time, if Homeboys ignore their long lane, Fanny slowly could very well just go in for that backdoor ambush.
But it's a lot easier now for Homeboys, right? They've popped the immortality off of Nick Stain as well, so you know that in this next team fight here, he's not going to have it. That gives them a lot of leeway to be able to contest it, although right now it seems like Homeboys might have a different strategy in mind here.
Yeah, 3-2. I think they're just trying to get Super Jocks to try to pull that Lord away, so it's the bait coming through. The Glyph will actually review their location, so Vanguard is very well aware of what Homeboys is trying to do. How will they respond, though? What will they pick off, or who will they pick off? It does seem kind of hard to pick off Pex and Mitsuri, which are seemingly the main damage dealers for Homeboys.
That's been posing a huge challenge for them, right? You can see time and again Slowly trying to find an entry into the backline of Homeboys, but you just know that Dairy is going to be there. If not Dairy, then Fear No Cure or Super Jocks to be able to peel for Mitsuri. Not to mention the Molina Blitz coming from Pex as well. That would just stop you in your tracks.
Oh, Slowly!
That is going to be the passive that is going to be pumped. That is a few minute timer that is going to be onto the passive. And Surge, Vanguard, more or less ready for this upcoming fight.
Again, the entire jungle is a minefield for Homeboys. Now, knowing that Slowly is away from the Lord, they want to capitalize on this. They want to take down the Lord as fast as they can. Conceal play coming up. Nick Stain trying to look for an angle right here.
He's trying to look for someone, but unfortunately he can't see. He's got completely stunned right now. Slowly finds himself the kill onto the Lord, and that is not going to be great at all. Slowly immediately cables himself right out of there as Vanguard came in here for what they wanted. That is going to be the Lord.
How can you let this happen again? This is insane. This is really painful for homeboys, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you lose a lot once, fine, but again now, but this time you lose it to slowly. And the thing is, I think they were preoccupied with the rest of the members there, potentially Nick Stain coming in with the flank, right? Putting their sights on them, but missing out the catch onto slowly.
To be honest though, this is a wasted Lord for Vanguard. They will make quick work of this Lord. It will go down. 30 seconds until Super Ryan and Nick Stain come back up online. Homeboys are still taking full control of the map. There is still a lane management problem down on that south lane. And Homeboys, they want to capitalize. They want to cycle Vanguard as much as they can.
I think, yes, it is a wasted Lord, but the flip side is if Vanguard had given up that Lord to Homeboys, then it could really have been devastating for them, right? But the fact that they popped Pex's Molina early on, you know, the passive is gone. They knew that they could go in for an engage safely and try to catch them off guard. And this time, well, Vanguard, I think, played that really, really well. Question is whether they can repeat that once again.
Well, again, I mean, this has been 2 minutes since Pex's passive has been broken. It should be back up online. So Vanguard, another hurdle they have to cross again.
For sure, and not to mention immortalities as well, right? You have that up in the time that the Lord's gonna take to spawn. It's almost like a complete reset here for both of these teams, having to come back and think about how they want to play this next big fight. And whether or not slowly can pull off that split push, force Homeboys to react to that and still make it back in time to be able to help the team out with that objective.
So Homeboys is actually really psyching up for a split push opportunity from Vanguard. That's why they're all hunkered down in the long lane, away from the Lord spawn. What they're imagining is going to happen is slowly swooping down onto the long lane, try to take slowly out of the way, try to pop his immortality at least, and then go for that Lord and go for the end. If Homeboys secure this next Lord, it will be huge for them. You see a play coming in?
Oh, it does seem as though with Nick Stain, they're just gonna take the brunt of the damage, but Homeboys, they're not gonna be baited to throw more damage on this Nick Stain.
That was actually quite humorous for a moment. I think I saw Molina flying on a cable.
Wait, was she actually flying on a cable?
I think I have to replay that, but I feel like I saw Molina fly through the cable.
Okay, if Molina
that
is
may be
actually
so,
flying
though.
on the cable, that's gonna be bad for me.
That's very cute and funny.
Okay,
right?
apparently Molina really was flying on the cable. I honestly thought that Molina, if you get transformed, you would just stop right there and then, but apparently not.
No, you just
Yep,
you
you're
just get a
flying
flying
Molina.
Molina.
Yeah, it's a flying
yeah,
Molina.
yeah,
I think the
it's a flying
cables go
Molina.
through first, and then the transform comes in as your character flies. But again, Vanguard trying to look for a smooth approach over to the back line. Vanguard still desperately trying to get their lane management up to par with Homeboys. Homeboys, full control of that Lord pit. The bottom lane, they have to go back and defend. It's not in the right time. Homeboys just baiting the rest of Vanguard out.
Oh, Homeboys, please don't play with my feelings anymore. Take
It's simply
lot-
to a 30-minute game.
Yeah, please take this lot properly. Okay, so now the problem is, will Super Jocks lose the Lord a second, no, third time, fourth time, sorry. Was it fourth?
Jerry ramping up. Won't want to commit to anything. They seek out Nick Stain.
Slowly.
They know where Slowly is. All 5 members of Vanguard actually have their immortality.
There's long lane, we don't really... Okay, long lane, Vanguard has got the slow push. That's one thing that we gotta have to remember as well, alright? Homeboys is not really gonna be focusing on that. They are trying to focus on Nick Stain, while the flicker is just gonna be expanded almost immediately. Lord reset it, and yeah, we're back to square one.
Well, square one, but a little bit of a minus, right? Taking out that flicker from Nick Stain is actually pretty big because you know that now he cannot come in with a surprise engage
That
with
is
the
true.
flanks, and which is super crucial to this team fight when they want to take this lot. You want to get that kick onto maybe Super Jocks, prevent him from pulling off that retreat, and that gives the window for Slowly to come in and make that steal.
Slowly is desperately trying to get the waves all synced up or trying to get that lane priority over to the side of Vanguard. Homeboys, though, just slowly seeping it down. Without the Molten Essence, Super Jocks is really making that Lord work for that time. Oh, you're no cure. It's a 2v1 situation.
You're no
Immortality
cure.
popped up.
He went to answer to the slow push at the bottom lane. And now that they know that the family is no longer at the bottom lane, their Homeboys just gonna be taking this fight. Aspect didn't manage to get a kill down on Super Ryan. The Lord's HP, it doesn't seem like Super Jocks. Oh, yes, he managed to! This time, he don't even need a retro. Oh, maybe he did use a retribution, but the fact stays is that Super Jock took the Lord for himself, and because it's 11 seconds in, the Lord moved on together with the new creeps. Even though Super Jock finds himself taken down, Luxurstain, Chute, and Nickstain, they are not exactly in a very safe territory just yet.
Oh, Vanguard unfortunately couldn't clean that one up. Felt like it was a bit of a coin flip there, right? Yes, Nickstain losing that flicker. So maybe let's try to make a play down there if we can catch Virno Cure and then make it in time, back in time for the Lord there. But it's just off like a split second for them to be able to do that.
Hey, you know what? Good timing from Homeboys. They knew that Vernocure is actually settling Nickstain and slowly all at once, so they attempted to go for that Lord. This is going to be very, very crucial for Homeboys. They have the advantage, they have the push.
Have time. They actually have a lot of time, especially since we are literally going to be looking at one front line and two back lines. The question is, which composition is better in this 3 versus 3 game? With Chute taken down already, Mitsuri's he currently still have got the immortality. So at this point, something will still work out as Super Ryan pops up the Black Dragon form. Unfortunately, they did not manage to clear this game fast enough as 3 members petrified, and now Mitsuri is going to be the one that will be taken down. Super Ryan's still going to be staying alive because of all the Shard residue, and even the Raging Sandstorm connects down Super Ryan. Homeboys, they are fighting right back. Slowly is back. This cycling is never ending right now. Nickstain gets a kick down.
Oh no!
Down, but unfortunately, even slowly, the Cable Master is unable to find an end and cycle Homeboys to oblivion.
Massive, massive play from Homeboys. What a showcase of micro